You wake at 3:47 a.m., not from a dream, from a sound, a low, rolling hum that vibrates through the walls of your bedroom. Your phone screen glows with an emergency alert you've never seen before. The words are simple. Ballistic missile threat inbound. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. Your heart doesn't race yet. Your brain hasn't caught up. You read it again. The alert time-stamp says 4 minutes ago. Outside you hear car engines starting, doors slamming, voices shouting in the dark. The hum grows louder. It's not thunder, it's not a plane. It's the sound of the world changing faster than you can process it. In the next 12 minutes, everything you thought you knew about survival will either save your life or kill you. There is no bunker waiting for you, no government convoy, no secret shelter carved into a mountain. There is only you, the walls around you, and the choices you make in the time you have left. This is not a drill. This is the moment civil defense experts spent 70 years preparing for. And most people will do exactly the wrong thing. The flash comes first, not the explosion, the light, a white-hot brilliance that turns night into noon in less than a second. If you're near a window, you feel the heat on your skin before your eyes even register what's happening. Instinct tells you to look. Physics tells you that looking will blind you. You dive not toward the door, not toward your car keys. You dive toward the center of your home, away from glass, away from exterior walls, away from anything that faces the direction of that terrible light. The blast wave follows 18 seconds later. It doesn't sound like a bomb. It sounds like the entire atmosphere being ripped apart. Windows explode inward. The walls shudder. Pictures fall. Dust fills the air. Your ears ring so loudly you can't hear your own breathing. But you're still breathing. That means you're outside the fireball zone. Outside the radius where concrete turns to vapor and steel melts into rivers. You're in the survival zone. And survival starts right now. You have no time to mourn, no time to check your phone. The network is already dead. The electromagnetic pulse from the detonation has fried circuits within a 100-mile radius. Your car won't start. Your neighbor's cars won't start. The street lights are dark. The hum of civilization, that constant electric heartbeat you never noticed, is gone. What replaces it is silence. A silence so complete it feels like pressure in your skull. You move to the most interior room in your home. A bathroom. A closet. A hallway with no windows. You pull your family with you. You don't explain. There's no time for questions. You grab 3 things on the way. Water bottles. A battery-powered radio. A flashlight. Everything else can wait. Because outside, invisible and silent, the second threat is already beginning. Radioactive fallout. The mushroom cloud, still boiling miles above the blast site, is pulling dirt and debris into the stratosphere. Concrete, dust, vaporized steel, irradiated soil. It rises, cools, and begins to drift. The wind carries it. And in 15 to 30 minutes it will start to fall, on rooftops, on streets, on skin. You are not in a bunker. You are in a house built in 1987 with drywall and wooden studs. But that house, used correctly, can reduce your radiation exposure by 90%. The principle is mass. Every solid object between you and the fallout particles absorbs gamma rays. A single concrete wall cuts exposure in half. 2 walls cut it by 75%. Add a basement or a second floor above you, and the numbers climb into the high 90s. You don't need a Cold War relic. You need to think in layers. You grab couch cushions and stack them against the exterior wall of your shelter room. You pull books off shelves, anything dense, anything heavy, and line them along the base of the door. You fill containers with water and place them as barriers. You take every mattress in the house and lean them at angles to create a makeshift radiation cocoon in the corner of the room. It looks absurd. It feels desperate, but it works. Civil defense studies from the 1960s prove it. Survivors in Hiroshima who sheltered in the center of concrete buildings walked out days later. Those who ran into the streets died from fallout exposure within hours. The radio crackles to life. The voice is calm, too calm. It's a pre-recorded emergency broadcast. The message repeats every 90 seconds. Remain indoors. Do not attempt to evacuate. Close all windows and doors. Move to the lowest level of your structure. Avoid consuming food or water from outside sources. Wait for further instructions. The message doesn't say where the bomb fell. It doesn't say how many. It doesn't say if more are coming. You realize with a cold clarity that you are operating in an information void. The internet is gone. Cell towers are offline. Even if you had a working phone, there's no network to connect to. The only information you have is what you can hear, what you can see through cracks in the walls, and what that mechanical voice tells you every 90 seconds. You check your watch. It's been 22 minutes since the flash. The fallout is descending now. You can't see it. You can't smell it. But it's there, settling like snow on every surface outside. Each particle is a microscopic fragment of irradiated material, emitting gamma radiation at lethal levels. Exposure for 10 minutes in the open could deliver a dose that kills you in 2 weeks. 30 minutes, and you have days. An hour, and you're already dead. You're breathing through a damp cloth now, pressed against your nose and mouth, even though you're sealed inside. Dust from the blast wave has infiltrated every crack. You don't know if it's radioactive yet, but you're not taking chances. Time collapses. Minutes feel like hours. Hours feel like days. You ration the water. 1 bottle per person per day. It's not enough, but it's all you have. You think about the faucet in the kitchen. The pipes might still have pressure. But the kitchen faces the street. It has windows. And the broadcast said not to move. You stay. Your children ask questions you can't answer. When can we leave? Where did it happen? Is everyone okay? You tell them the only truth you have. We wait. We stay here. We stay together. The psychological weight of confinement sets in faster than you expected. 4 people in a 10 by 10 room with no ventilation and no sense of time. The flashlight battery is already dimming. You switch it off. You'll save it for emergencies. The darkness is total. You realize you've lived your entire life surrounded by electric light. You've never experienced true darkness. It's disorienting, claustrophobic, but it's also safer. Less temptation to open a door. Less chance of making a fatal mistake. The first 24 hours are the most dangerous. This is when gamma radiation from fallout is at its peak. Outside, the invisible storm is raging. Inside, you enforce strict discipline. No one leaves the shelter room. No one touches the outer walls. No one opens the door unless the structure is actively collapsing. You listen to the radio. The emergency broadcast updates every 6 hours now. The new message is slightly longer. Fallout has been detected in the following regions. A list of counties. Yours is on it. Radiation levels are extreme. Remain sheltered for a minimum of 48 hours. Do not consume rainwater. Do not touch debris. Further updates will follow. You mark the time on the wall with a pencil. Hour 6. Hour 12. Hour 18. The human mind needs markers. It needs progress. Without them, panic takes root. You've read about this. Survival psychology. People who freeze in disasters aren't cowards. They're overwhelmed. Their brains shut down because they can't process the scale of the threat. You refuse to freeze. You count hours. You ration supplies. You create tasks. Check the radio. Adjust the cushions. Drink water slowly. You turn survival into a rhythm. At 36 hours, the second broadcast update arrives. Radiation levels have decreased significantly. Controlled outdoor exposure of no more than 15 minutes is now permissible for essential tasks. Avoid touching surfaces. Wear multiple layers of clothing. Cover your nose and mouth. You make a decision. The water is gone. You have to refill. You wrap yourself in 3 layers, a jacket, a raincoat, a scarf over your face. You open the door. The air outside the shelter room smells like burnt metal and dust. You move quickly, keeping to the center of the hallway, away from exterior walls. The kitchen is dim. The faucet sputters when you turn it. Brown water, then clear. You fill every container you have. Bottles, pots, a bucket. You don't know if the water is safe. You don't know if the pipes are contaminated. But dehydration will kill you faster than a low dose of radiation. You return to the shelter. 11 minutes. You strip off the outer layers in the hallway and seal them in a garbage bag. You don't bring them into the clean room. Contamination control is everything now. You've just performed your first decontamination procedure, and you didn't even realize it. You're learning the new rules in real time. At 48 hours, the radiation has dropped to 1% of its initial level. This is the threshold, the moment when short trips outside become survivable. But the broadcast warns against evacuation. Do not attempt to travel. Roads are impassable. Emergency services are establishing aid centers. Remain in place until directed otherwise. You risk a look outside. You crack the door to the backyard. The world looks the same, but wrong. The grass is gray with ash. The neighbor's fence is leaning at an angle. A car is overturned in the street. No bodies. No movement, just silence. You close the door. The sight is worse than you imagined, not because of destruction, but because of absence. Where is everyone? Are they sheltering like you? Are they already gone? You don't know. And not knowing is its own kind of terror. You return to the radio. The updates are becoming more structured now. Emergency distribution centers are operational in the following locations. A list of schools, churches, parking lots. Bring identification if possible. Water and medical supplies are available. Decontamination stations are active. You memorize the closest location. A high school 4 miles away. You'll go at 72 hours. Not before. The third day arrives. You've been sealed in your home for 3 full days. The smell inside the shelter room is overwhelming. Sweat, fear, stale air, but you're alive. You gather your family. You explain the plan. You'll walk to the distribution center. You'll stay together. You'll avoid touching anything outside. You'll move fast. Before you leave, you perform a final preparation. Every person strips down and puts on the cleanest clothes available. You seal the contaminated clothing in bags and leave them in the garage. You wipe down exposed skin with damp towels, scrubbing gently, but thoroughly. This is decontamination. Crude, improvised, but effective. Studies show that removing outer clothing eliminates 90% of radioactive particles. A simple wipe down removes most of the rest. You're not sterile, but you're survivable. You step outside. The sun is too bright. Your eyes ache. You haven't seen daylight in 72 hours. The neighborhood is unrecognizable. Not destroyed, but altered. Ash covers everything. A thin, gray blanket that muffles sound and color. You walk down the center of the street, avoiding cars, avoiding debris, avoiding anything that might have absorbed fallout. You see others now. Families emerging from homes, faces pale, eyes wide. No one speaks. You're all ghosts, moving through a world that ended 3 days ago. The distribution center is chaos, but organized chaos. Military personnel in hazmat suits direct foot traffic. Decontamination tents are set up in the parking lot. You're ordered to strip again, to shower in cold water under open tarps, to dress in donated clothing. It's humiliating. It's necessary. The radiation detectors beep as you pass through. Yellow, not red. You're cleared. Inside, rows of tables hold bottled water, canned food, first aid kits. You take only what you need. Others are grabbing armfuls, hoarding. You see the fear in their eyes? The breakdown is beginning, not the bombs, not the fallout. The slow unraveling of social order. You take your supplies and leave. You walk back home. The 4 miles feel like 40. You don't speak. You don't make eye contact. You survive. That's all there is now. 1 hour, one day, one choice at a time. In the days that follow, the radio broadcasts become more detailed. The detonation was a single warhead, 250 kilotons. An airburst over a major city 200 miles east. The fallout plume drifted west with the wind. Your town was in the outer zone, dangerous but not lethal. Casualty estimates are incomplete. Infrastructure is crippled. Power won't return for weeks, maybe months. Water treatment plants are offline. Supply chains are shattered. The message is clear. You're on your own. The government is coordinating, but resources are thin. Aid is coming, but slowly. You realize something profound. The bomb didn't kill you. The blast didn't kill you. The fallout didn't kill you. What could still kill you is ignorance, panic, poor decisions in the hours that mattered most. You survived because you stayed inside, because you created distance and mass between yourself and the radiation, because you waited when every instinct screamed to run. You survived because you didn't need a bunker. You needed knowledge. This is in the lesson civil defense experts spent decades trying to teach. Nuclear war is survivable for millions of people outside the blast zones. Not comfortable, not easy, but survivable. The difference between life and death is measured in walls and hours. The difference is understanding that fallout decays rapidly, that radiation follows rules, that your home, reinforced with furniture and patience, becomes a fortress. The myth of the bunker has done more harm than good. It convinced generations that survival belonged only to the wealthy, the prepared, the military. It paralyzed ordinary people into believing they had no chance. But the physics doesn't care about wealth. It cares about mass, distance, and time. A basement in a wooden house offers the same protection as a concrete bunker if used correctly. A closet piled with books and water containers can save a family. The tools of survival are already around you. You just have to know how to use them. The world you knew is gone, but the world itself remains. The sun still rises. Water still flows, eventually. Food still grows, in time. Humanity still endures because it always has. You look at your family, huddled in the center of your shelter room, exhausted but alive. You think about the choices you made, the panic you swallowed, the fear you controlled. You didn't have a bunker. You didn't have a plan written in a manual. You had walls, water, and time. And you had the knowledge that survival is not about waiting for rescue. It's about becoming your own first responder. In the moment when the sirens wail and the flash burns the sky, you won't have time to learn. You'll only have time to act. The question is simple. Will you know what to do? Will you understand that the greatest threat isn't the bomb itself, but the choices you make in the minutes and hours that follow? Will you run, or will you shelter? Will you panic, or will you prepare? The answer to that question is the difference between becoming a statistic and becoming a survivor. The nuclear age never ended. The weapons still exist. The possibility still looms. But so does the knowledge. So does the science. So does the simple, brutal truth that most people who shelter correctly will live, and most people who don't will die. You don't need a bunker carved into a mountain. You need a plan that fits in your mind. You need to understand the timeline, the zones, the physics. You need to practice the mental discipline of staying still when your body screams to move. And you need to accept that survival is not about defeating the bomb. It's about outlasting the fallout. The walls around you right now, wherever you are, can save your life. The question is whether you'll trust them, whether you'll trust the science, whether you'll trust yourself to make the hard choice when the moment comes. Because the moment will come without warning. And when it does, there will be no time for doubt, no time for hesitation, no time for anything except action. This is not fear-mongering. This is not despair. This is the cold, hard mathematics of survival. And the math says you have a chance, a real chance, if you know what to do, if you do it fast, if you stay calm. The bunker was always a myth. The real shelter was inside you all along. The knowledge, the discipline, the refusal to give up when the world goes dark. That's what saves you. Not concrete, not steel, not wealth. Just you, your walls, and the seconds you have left to make the right choice. The flash may come without warning, but you won't be unprepared. Not anymore.